today. Excuse me. Panels are all glued up, set overnight. The different laminations seem to stay relatively flat. I checked them on the cast iron surface of the table saw and minimal rocks, so I was pleased with how that turned out. So for the sake that it's turning into a bandsaw box, and precision fit up is not paramount. I'm not terribly worried about having to joint the faces. I think they'll ride through the planer reasonably well, and I'll be able to cope with any little irregularities that come out the other side when I glue it together for the final block. So let's run those through and get them to clean up. Again, thickness is not going to be important. There's no hard and fast rules for this. It's just whatever it cleans up, it cleans up. So we'll get on with it. I just got the bandsaw set up with a 3/4 inch resaw blade and what started out to be a log milling fixture, but it'll work well for a high fence. Got the blade all trued in for squareness to the table. Used the best and tallest square I had, squaring it at its extreme height, just to exaggerate any error and hopefully end up with a truer cut. Hopefully you can see what's going on here. I took about what the thickness of the finished glue up is and laid a band right down the center. Hopefully I'll stay within that, and that should give us hopefully when it cleans up should be no less than 5/16 of an inch either piece, and one will end up being glued to the center portion of the box. The other piece will end up being the lid or the bottom, depending on whatever the case may be. So let's see what happens. To be honest, I'm mildly impressed. You got nice even cut, but I think we can all agree that we've reached the limit of what this poor grizzly can do. That's a lot of bouncing around through hardwood like that. But hey, it did the job. We'll go out, plane everything down, and be back. Okay, so we have all the planing done, everything's flat, and what we ended up with is we have the main body of the box. Well, this will be cut into 2 boxes later. So we have the main body, which ended up being just a little bit under 7/8 of an inch thick. We have one that's about 3/16. This will be the bottom after we do all the bandsaw cutting. We have one that's about 5/16. That will be the lids. And we have 2 that are about 3/8 that will be glued to the center section to give the main box some depth. Again, this is for little girls, so it doesn't have to store a bunch of stuff. At 10, how much jewelry do you have? So that's where we are now. So now what we got to do is, for easier handling from here on out, is cut everything, rip everything square to the same as the current width dimension. So we will get set up for that and get underway here.
From there. So I don't think you want to see it gluing up, so we'll glue all this stuff up, and tomorrow we will cut the profiles out.